This is MSR's Elixir 2 backpacking tent.
As much or little as you want, and then you can roll it up and neatly stash it away.
So now we're going to talk about closed cell foam mattresses.
This is Big Agnes's Fly Creek HV UL one-person tent. That's a mouthful, but for those wondering, HV stands for high volume. We'll get into that later. This tent packs up extremely small, and it's only 1 pound and 15 ounces. Let's take a look. And if you sleep standing up, you can try this advanced technique. So this tent really is just a few poles away from a bivy bag, as you can see. One thing to note is that with the Fly On, you can attach these little loops, which actually give it a lot more volume. We mentioned before that HV stands for high volume, and Big Agnes says that this is 25% more volume around the shoulders and 10% more volume around the foot box. You can see there are these little guy outs that with some tweaking and extra guy lines will actually increase the volume of the tent. However, that being said, this is still a very cramped tent, and definitely if you're 6'6", this would not be the option for you. So you can see that the DAC aluminum Featherlight poles are in a sort of a tripod configuration. We have one pole here, and then one pole that just goes all the way along the ridge. It's color-coded, but there are only 3 spots to put them, so it's not that confusing, but there is still that yellow accent over there. And then to attach it, there are just a bunch of clips all around. Inside the tent now, we have one pocket over here, right by the D-shaped door. This door is quite small. It's a light tent. It's quite small, but it is a double zipper and it can be rolled back, so that's kind of nice. It's a little hard to wriggle out though, sometimes, so again, if you're a bigger person, then it's a little harder to get in and out of this tent. There's one more pocket right above here, and then another one to mirror this pocket right here. So there are a few pockets. We like to use this one for the headlamp, and then just other random pieces of gear here. And past that, there's really not too much to this tent. Again, with the Fly On, it's going to be a little bit more spacious because we have these attachment points to pull out, but quite small. But if you're looking for just a small option and you're really concerned about weight, less than 2 pounds is honestly a dream. So if you can bear with the smaller space, it's a great option. So here's a look with the Fly On now. As you can see, there are numerous points with these very small reflective guy line attachments. There's one here, and we didn't use them here, but we used our own guy line here, and there's some more here. Just to note, to achieve maximum volume on the interior of this tent, you're going to need to guy line out most of these points. So if you're not someone who's used to all the knots or getting a little creative with how you set up your guy lines, you're not going to achieve maximum high volume for the interior of this tent. Speaking of that, let's take a look inside. So here's a look inside the tent now. As you can see, there's actually a lot more space now that we've attached the Fly and guy lined everything out. There's a lot more space for my shoulders and just for my arms around the entry of the tent. And then in the foot box, there's a lot more room. So I say that now we could comfortably fit a mattress inside. But again, if you're over 6 feet, it's still gonna be a bit of a cramped space for you. Now onto the doors, the entry and exit. Both doors to the vestibule and to the main body have a toggle and loop sort of system that holds them back. This is a little bit tricky to do and undo, but it gets the job done. It's very light. So the first door is a double zipper D door, very standard. And then once we're out here, we have a tiny bit of a vestibule. It'd be hard to fit your pack inside here, but if you were packing ultralight and just had sort of like a day pack, I guess it would work. And then again, this D-shaped door also has a toggle and loop. And it is also a double zipper here. So you can open it from the top or the bottom. And then you have just a little bit of Velcro, as well as this storm flap right here. So that's our perspective on the Big Agnes Fly Creek HV UL one-person backpacking tent. This tent doesn't have a whole lot of extra features, and it's just a few pulls away from a bivvy, as we mentioned before. So there are quite a few compromises, but it's so light that if you're willing to make those compromises, it's going to make the rest of your trip really easy. You do have to be careful of the guidelines that you have to set up. So setup time isn't the fastest, but once again, that's just a compromise you have to make for the insane lightweight properties of this tent. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Do you think these compromises are worth it, or would you rather have a more fully featured tent? Let us know, and we'll see you next time.